Good morning, CSL family. You feel the holidays in the air. We're so glad you're with us today. Glad you're in the sanctuary. We're glad you're online with us. It's a wonderful time of year, wonderful day here in Boise, Idaho. We have Mr. Rex Miller on keyboards and our music director. Please give him a big hand. Ted McClurg is playing bass for us again today. Big hand, big hand. My name's Phil Bowden. I'm playing drums for you. Thank you. And we have Mrs. Claus, also known as Jen Potcher, on our lead singer today. So let's sing some Christmas carols and get going.
Feel free to sing along. Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing are bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime and jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air.
Feel free to join
what a bright time. It's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is our swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. Mix and mingle in a jingling beat. That's the Jingle Bell Rock. What a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. Mix and mingle in a jingling beat. That's the Jingle Bell, that's the Jingle Bell, that's the Jingle Bell Rock.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm Bev Ballard. I am your Board of Trustees Vice President, and it is my honor to bring forth our spiritual practice this morning. This week, on December 21st, we celebrate winter solstice. We light candles this morning to honor the winter solstice. It is my honor to introduce Jane Torres, who will light the religion's candles from the Christ candle. In religious science, we perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people in all faiths come from one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. In lighting these candles today, we honor the winter solstice. We light the first candle in celebration of the winter solstice. We welcome the sun back to our atmosphere and bless its return and the longer hours of light it brings. The second candle is lit to honor the growth, energy, and life force of things and concepts we cannot see, as we recognize that they are always manifesting, even when hidden. Lighting the third candle honors our faith in the silent darkness and mystery of life from which new creation emerges. To honor the places of darkness, silence, safe incubation, the earth, the sea, the human heart, the human mind, the womb, where life, solutions, and inspirations find the nourishment and fertile space in which to begin their journeys. We light the fourth candle as we reclaim hope in the face of troubles, knowing that the seeds of change are always present to honor our own staying power, collectively and individually, for having the energy to see something through until the end, despite the darkness. The fifth and final candle is lit in deep gratitude as we say thank you for the 4 seasons and for our lives as we accept our limitless nature and come home to ourselves. We give thanks to the wise powers of the universe that have protected us this day, this season, this year, and to the ancient wisdom teachers who showed us how to best sow the seeds of a brighter future. May their blessings attend us wherever we go. Let us quiet our minds and open our hearts to the spiritual message being sung by Jen Potcher.
In the touch of a friend, in the breath of a child, in the eyes of a soldier coming home, to his mother's grateful smile, in the sight of falling snow and the memories it brings, in the season where you find some peace, in the simple tender things. Open your heart and look around. Listen, listen. Hear the song within the silence. See the beauty when there's nothing there. Sing a song within the silence, that hope and love are everywhere. And when the quiet night is falling, watch an angel dancing in the air to a song within the silence, a December prayer, a December prayer. In the strength of your hand as it holds on to mine, and the promise that we're not alone in this place and time. In the gifts that you give, I am humbled and amazed, far beyond this day and time of year. We are in a state of grace. Open your heart and look around. Listen, listen. Hear the song within the silence. See the beauty when there's nothing there. Sing a song within the silence, that hope and love are everywhere. Watch an angel dancing in the air to a song within a silence, a December prayer, a December prayer. Listen, listen. In the silence, see the beauty when there's nothing there. Sing a song within the silence, that hope and love are everywhere. And when the quiet night is falling, watch an angel to the song within the silence, a December prayer, a December
Good morning, family. Please join me in prayer. Taking a moment to breathe in this beautiful Sunday morning, knowing that we are filled with the power and the presence of something greater, that still small voice that calls us forth into a higher place. We open our hearts and our minds and our spirits, our bodies, to this whisper of God in each of us. It's here we dwell and prepare ourselves for this service, for the invitation of God, of light, of love, of peace and joy. Despite what's happening, we know there is a powerful source that supports us in whatever is going on. And we're so deeply grateful for this. Knowing love leads the way, God guides, guards, directs. For this, we're so grateful. So I let it go into the law, knowing it's so undone. And we're ready for the unfolding of something greater in each of us. And so it is, and so we let it be.
Please put your hands together for Mrs. Claus, also known as Jen Potcher.
Feel the cold wind blowing, winter's coming on. 'Tis the season, so they say. If you need help believing, 'cause your spirit ain't too strong, hold my hand, we'll push that cloud away. Put a little holiday in your heart. It'll put a little shuffle in your step. Give you a song that you can sing with a melody you can't forget. And if you want to join in a little harmony to keep the world from tearing apart, well, you know where to look. Yeah, you gotta put a little holiday in your heart. There's a man on the corner who doesn't have a name. People pass and turn their heads away. But to share a simple kindness will put your heart aflame. And you'll get more than you'll ever give away. Put a little holiday in your heart. It'll put a little shuffle in your step. Give you a song that you can sing with a melody you can't forget. And if you want to join in a little harmony to keep the world from tearing apart, well, you know where to look. Yeah, you gotta put a little holiday in your heart. Starts with you, it starts with me. He ain't no stranger, he's family. And it don't matter if we agree, it all comes down to love. So put a little holiday in your heart.
Miss Jen Potcher, ladies and gentlemen, better known this time of the year as Mrs. Claus, or Miss Claus, perhaps, or Miss Claus, perhaps. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to all of you who are joining us online this morning or watching later. This is our family service, the time when we invite all the children to come and sit with us in the sanctuary, and I'm so glad to see all you kids. I mean, really, there's not any children here, but boy, have we got kids here. We got kids celebrating the joy of being a child, man, every day of our lives. Every year I come on this day with a book that belonged to my mother. She got it in 1996. And I'll share these stories with you. Let's begin with one called Not in the Play. The early part of December is the time of year when Christmas plays and pageants are being planned and practiced and prepared. It's such a big time of the year for the little ones. Well, it seems that there was a small boy in his Sunday school who was bitterly disappointed at not being given the role of Joseph in their upcoming nativity scene. Instead, he was given the minor role of playing the innkeeper. All during the weeks of preparation and rehearsal, he brooded and planned how he could get some kind of revenge on his more successful rival. Finally, the day of the performance came. The play was moving along quite nicely. And then it was time for Joseph and Mary to make their entrance. They moved across the stage setting and knocked on the door of the inn. The innkeeper opened it a fraction, as he had been told to do, and eyed them coldly, for now this was his big scene. "Can you give us board and lodging for the night?" pleaded Joseph. He then stepped back for the awaited rebuke and rejection. But the innkeeper had not planned for all those weeks and practices for nothing. He flung the door open wide, beamed genially, and a loud, happy voice said, "Come on in! Come right on in! Yeah, come on in! You shall have the very best meal and the very best room in the hotel. It's yours! It's yours! I'm pleased and delighted to welcome you to our inn. It's my privilege. Please, come on, step on in and be my guest." There was a pause. The audience caught their collective breath. This was certainly a change in plot and definitely not in the script. Then with great presence of mind, the youthful Joseph turned and said to Mary loud enough so that everybody could hear him, Hold on, honey. I'll take a look inside first." He strode past the innkeeper, who stood still with the door flung open, looked all around the inn, and came back out. He shook his head firmly at the innkeeper, who was grinning broadly, and announced, "No, I'm not taking my wife in such a lousy place as this. Come on, Mary. Tonight we'll be sleeping in the stable out back." And so, good morning. So for the children in all of us, as the lights are coming down, I invite you just to take a moment and remember what Christmas is all about as you look today through the eyes of a child. A video's coming up in just a minute. It's kind of like that room. Go get it. Can you make it big?
I guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster. I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please. And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host praising God, and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown.
Many of you may not know that in 1965, Charles Schulz, who was a devout Christian and creator of the Peanuts comic strip, was asked to create a Christmas special for CBS featuring the Peanuts characters. He agreed with one requirement, that they allowed him to tell the story of the birth of Jesus. Although the executives were very hesitant, the television executives were hesitant, and tried to convince him otherwise, in fact, offering him a lot of money not to do it that way, Schulz was insistent. As a result, for the past 50-plus years, millions of people have watched, that was just a little snippet from it, A Charlie Brown Christmas, and heard the story of Jesus and what Christmas is all about. But as I was watching it, and I read a blog online about this, I realized that there was a hidden message in the film. Linus, you all know Linus, you saw Linus, is a child who has a lot of insecurities. And throughout all of the Peanuts cartoons that you looked at in the news and any that were on the media, you would see that Linus always holds his blanket. It's his security blanket. He never let it go. He never let it go. It was with him at all times. He never dropped it except once in this little thing. In sharing the message of what Christmas is all about, Linus drops his blanket at the exact moment. Yeah, it's okay. At the exact moment, he says the words, "Fear not," in the Christmas story. Fear not. Not yet. We're not going to be doing any of that yet, so thank you. So Linus held on to this blanket forever and ever, never letting it go. It was his security blanket, that which kept him from losing, from being nervous. But he dropped it one time when the words, "Fear not," were spoken. Fear not. For behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you this day a child is born. And a child is born every day that is filled with hope. Linus dropped his blanket. In that seemingly innocent moment of dropping his blanket, he reminded us the true meaning of Christmas, seen through the eyes of a child. Don't be afraid. Christmas comes to remind us every single year that there's nothing to fear if we believe that God is all there is and that the Spirit and the life and the love of God is within us. Fear not, for a birth of the Christ consciousness is being birthed. Fear not, because we are all one, and together we can create a world that works for everyone. Fear not. Fear not. That's the true meaning. That's the true meaning of the birth, of the consciousness of hope and love and joy and peace. But I was reading in the blog where someone reminded this blog reader very indignantly that Linus picked his blanket up at the end of the speech. So he drops it when the words "fear not" are given, but then he picks it back up. Well, he was right. He does pick it back up. And then he drops it again later. But the point I want to make is that all of us are afraid of something sometimes in our lives. Sometimes in our lives. Charlie Brown chose in the midst of all of those artificial big Christmas trees, Charlie Brown chose the least of those trees, a little tiny wooden tree with just a few branches. Right after that, Linus uses his blanket to wrap around the tree, and he says, maybe all this tree needs is just a little love. Just a little love is all the tree needs. And in that moment, if you remember the film, because we're not allowed to show the whole thing, but if you remember, the tree stands tall. It stands up and it's beautiful and it's bright and it's glorious and it awakens and it stands tall and firm. A reminder that no matter who we are, no matter how many mistakes that we have made, and no matter how many mistakes we are going to make in God, I'm standing before you telling you I know the mistakes I make, and they pain me to my core. But the reminder every year is that no matter how many we make, just a little love, just a little understanding, just a little compassion and acceptance can make all the difference. So fear not, and love one another. Love one another. All right, children, all the kids in this room, we're going to sing Rudolph. Let's sing Rudolph.
Okay,
That's my favorite. Come on. You know, Rudolph was a female, just so you know. I want you all to realize that the reindeer were all females, just so you know.
Now,
I'm just saying, guys.
I was going to do this with kids, so you're all kids, right? So you're going to do
You
this
got
with me.
all these kids.
When we have kids. Okay, so you have to do it. When I say the word nose, you point to your nose. Okay? Practice. Nose. Good. Oh, good. You guys listen good. Okay. When I say reindeer, I want to see this. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And when I say glows, you're going to go like this. Okay?
What? When you say what?
Glows.
Glows.
Glows. Okay? Okay, you guys ready? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call her names. She never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you drive my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him as they shouted out with glee, Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you'll go down in history. You'll go down in history. Woo.
Come on, it's a kid. There was a small country church having the yearly Christmas cantata. Cantata. I guess that means play. Part of the ritual of their cantata was that they always marched in singing, O Come All Ye Faithful, and then at the end they proceeded out singing, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. This small country church had a large floor furnace that heated the entire building. The grating for that furnace was right in the center of the aisle. As the choir began their processional, they marched precisely up each aisle, each person 3 pews behind each other exactly. Just as the last alto got midway up the aisle, she stepped on the grating of the floor furnace. Unfortunately, the pencil-thin heel of her shoe went through the grating and stuck there. Hardly breaking stride, she shook her foot hard several times, but unfortunately, the shoe was stuck. The man in line behind her was getting close. She slipped her foot out of the shoe and went limping up the aisle with only one heel on. The man coming behind looked down and realized what had happened. He knew that if the shoe was left sticking there, it would break up the congregation. Thinking quickly, he reached down, grabbed the shoe, and gave it a strong twist. To his amazement, the entire floor grate came up with the shoe. He went into a mild state of shock and dazedly marched up the aisle in time with the music, with the floor gate and shoe in one hand. Oh, come all ye. You guessed it. The next man in line fell in the hole. I'd be willing to wager that was one Christmas program that was never forgotten, at least by those who participated and those who's observed. In the Christmas story, fear fills the hearts of the shepherds. Now and then, someone introduces a bit of fear into Christmas. Everyone present at the New Biggie, England middle school Christmas pageant was engrossed in the presentation and enjoying their kids. Midway through, a field mouse popped up from a bale of straw, sat on its hind legs, and began grooming itself. According to the headmaster, Alan Sinmans, the 130 children on stage were fairly good. They were only in mild hysterics, but the people in the audience jumped out of their seat and screamed. And when we think about it, jumping out of your seats and screaming might be a little bit more appropriate than just sitting here. So, Christmas is about hope. As the lights are coming down,
I walked across an empty land. I knew the pathway like the back of my hand. I felt the earth beneath my feet, sat by the river and it made me complete. Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting tired and I need someone to rely on. I came across a fallen tree. I felt the branches of it looking at me. Is this the place we used to love? Is this the place that I've been dreaming of? Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting tired and I need someone to rely on. And if you have a minute, why don't we go talk about it somewhere only we know? 'Cause this could be the end of everything. So why don't we go somewhere only we know?
I don't know if you believe in Christmas, or if you have presents underneath a Christmas tree. But if you believe in love, that will be more than enough for you to come and celebrate with me. For I have held the precious gift that love brings, even though I never saw a Christmas star. I know there is a light, I have felt it burn inside, and I have seen it shining from afar. Christmas is a time to come together, a time to put all differences aside. And I reach out my hand to the family of men to share the joy I feel at Christmas time. For the truth that binds us all together, I would like to say a simple prayer, that at this special time you will have true peace of mind and love to last throughout the coming year. And if you believe in love, that will be more than enough for peace to last throughout the coming year. And peace on earth will last throughout the year.
A prayer from our heart for those in Israel and Gaza today, that peace breaks forth through all the years. One of the greatest gifts that Spirit, that life has given us is the urge for peace. The innate knowing that peace is the order of who and what we are. And so we hold that in our hearts this morning. And one of the greatest gifts that life gives us, particularly to lift us out of moments of discouragement and despair, is the incredible power of hope. Hope. Hope is not a word that I have always been very comfortable with in my life. I always thought that hope had implicit in it a little bit of doubt. But I've changed my opinion about that recently as I've been thinking about the only thing we can do is hold hope in our heart. Hope in our heart. Which is the amazing ability to believe that no matter what the situation, that there's going to be a positive outcome, that things are going to work out and that things are going to get better. Hope is more powerful than I think many of us realize. Hope is what sustains us and gets us through, that helps us when we're in difficult situations. Hope is what keeps us moving forward when the world tells us what a mess it is. Hope. Hope is mentioned liberally in the Christian Bible. Hebrews advises us to hold on to hope unswervingly. Peter gives praise to God for a living hope that is fertile and counsels us to live hopefully in the grace of God that's coming to us, to have grace, to have grace. He's saying that hope is a gift from God, from Spirit, and that we have to hope fully in the power of God in us, through us, to make all things possible for those who believe. For those who believe. So I ask you to think of something in your life right now that you're hoping for. Something that you're holding on to hope for. Take a deep breath and just breathe that in and infuse hope fully into that situation. Knowing that a greater outcome is going to happen. Knowing that Spirit has the power to bring forth the positive answers that we are looking for. That Spirit will, if we just sit back and allow Spirit to speak through us, will give us the answers that we are looking for. Now take another deep breath. And expand your heart into that situation that you are hoping. I am hoping for peace. I am hoping for a ceasefire today, tonight. For the rest of this year, to let people take a breath. Breathe it in. During this time of year, I think a lot about Mary, the mother, the so-called virgin, as we read in the Bible. I think Mary provides a wonderful demonstration of hope. We are told in Luke 1:26, that God sent the angel Gabriel to a virgin Mary. And the angel, as you know, said, "Greetings to you who are highly favored. The Lord is with you." Now remember, in religious science that we teach and believe that the Bible is the story of all of our lives. So suspend your judgment for just a moment and realize that you are Mary receiving this message. Not the message that you're with child, as I see a lot of horrified looks on some women's faces in this room, including my own. No. But the message, look how the message came to her. You who are highly favored, God is with you. What a message for us. You are highly favored. You are the beloved of the beloved Most High. And Spirit is with you. Now, obviously, I think if you were a young woman, unmarried, in a time that we know would have meant that she would be stoned to death, had this been public knowledge that she was pregnant. She obviously was greatly troubled at his words and wondered, obviously, what kind of greeting that could be. But the angel said the next words that are for all of us. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. Because you have found favor with God. And that part I don't like so much. It's like, which one does Daddy love the most? I don't like that. But he goes on to say, you will be with child and give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. Married, like you and I would say, wait a minute, buddy. I don't know what you've been smoking, but this is impossible. Obviously, she argued with him. Obviously, she said all the things that she would say, how can this be? And on she said, and the angel answered, it just is. Because, and this is the third message for all of us, because nothing is impossible to God. When I read this story, I'm greatly comforted. Nothing is impossible with God. Nothing is impossible with God. No ceasefire, no end of armed conflicts in Israel and Gaza is impossible. Nothing is impossible. And when we step out into the understanding that no matter what is going on in our life, if we will simply surrender and allow the Spirit and the love and the light that is God itself to move through us, if we will just stop trying to do it all ourselves and let Spirit have its way through us, nothing is impossible to God. Nothing is impossible with God, as us, in us, and through us. But we human beings think that we have to control it all, that we have to know the outcome. And what the angel is saying to Mary is, you don't have to understand this because you're not going to. But nothing is impossible with God. Obviously, she was confused and scared that she could actually do such a great thing. Obviously, she thought she could have a child, but to give birth to the new life, to give birth to love, to give birth to the light that is dawning on planet Earth. But the message of the angel was one of hope and reassurance. You have found favor. Nothing is impossible with God. And that this birth would take place through her. That no matter what she was going to do, this birth is going to take place through her. Again, another message for us, that no matter what we do, something is being birthed in us all the time. We can't stop it. But we can, if we simply focus on the good in life, focus on Spirit, we can control what we're giving birth to through the power of our minds, through the power of our hearts. This is what we teach here. And so Mary responded, again, another message for us in this Christmas story that we always believed was about a little virgin girl having a baby through the Holy Spirit, which really is really not the message at all for us. She says this, the greatest message to us of all. Here I am. Here I am. Let it be according to your word. Here I am. And what is the word? It is the word that is through us. Let it be according to my word. Here I am, God. Let it be according to my belief. Here I am, God. Let it be according to my hope. Here I am, God. Let it be according to that which I hold dearest in my heart. So the story of Mary, I believe, serves a great personal lesson to each one of us regarding how we can infuse hope into our life situation. In the same way that God called Mary forth to give birth to something and to bless our world, God is calling us forth to give birth to something and to bless our world. There are plenty people out here that are blessing our world with curses, with the less than good, if I can be in a judgmental moment for just a second. But I will say that God is calling forth, life is calling forth, universal intelligence is calling each of us to give birth to greatness. Right now, there's something in you that's yearning to come through. Right now, there is something in each person within the sound of my voice that is coming forth, that is trying to come forth, that is trying to be known. Something is calling for you to give it life and expression. Something that's going to change you. Something that's going to bless you and your family. Something that's going to bless our world. Something is coming through you. I know it. I feel it. I believe it. I'll hold that for you until you can hold it for yourself. But this is the time of the year when finally we can say, here I am, God, your servant, your expression, your manifestation on planet Earth. You birthed me in your image and likeness, and you gave me life, the life of God itself moving through me. Something is calling to be birthed in us today. So we have to infuse hope, hope that we know what that will be, hope that we can stand ready and lowly listen and allow Spirit to have its life through us. We must have unswerving hope. We must have deep hope. We must have unquestionable hope that with God, all things are possible. And so the next time that somebody says to you, that simply can't be done, all things are possible. And we infuse hope in that. Nope, there's no way you're going to pull yourself out of that situation. He'll never change. She'll never change. This situation will never change. All things are possible with God. We don't have to listen to the words of the naysayers in the world that are telling us that we are limited by our circumstances and our conditions, because the story of Mary is here to tell you that there is a deeper message. You are being called. You are favored. You are being called to birth something new on our planet right now. And you are the beneficial presence that will make the difference, that will make the change. But how, you say? How, Jackie? How? So Mary, once again, the story of Mary gives us 3 specific lessons in how we can do it. First, and this is the hardest for most of us, we have to be willing to listen to Spirit. But I get confused. I don't know about you. Do you get confused between Spirit and ego? Because I do. A lot. Which is this God or is this ego? Is this God or is this me, what I want? And then I have to sit and really listen, really listen. Because the most powerful communication tool is not talking, it's listening. And most of us don't listen very well, myself included, even to Spirit. But Mary, in this wonderful little story, whether it is literally true or not, in this wonderful story, Mary was willing to listen to the angel Gabriel, was willing to listen to the messenger of God, and to listen to that still small voice that was calling her to greatness. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'd been Mary and I'd had an apparition come and visit me in the middle of the night and say, hey, you're favored and congratulations, you're going to have a child, I would pull out the closest something that I could find and throw it and say, get that out of here. Get out of here. I'm not listening to you. Mary didn't do that. She stood there and she listened. So often we turn away to that still small voice that is trying to speak to us, to let us know. So we have to be willing to listen. We have to be willing to listen. To be willing to listen. And sometimes we have to let go of something that's stopping us from listening. Perhaps it's someone. Mary didn't think she was capable or qualified to give birth to the Son of God. But nothing was impossible with God, and she had hope. You know, there are a lot of things in our life that deep down we know we're supposed to do. We know we're supposed to do them, but we can't muster up the courage to do it. Most of all, because we don't trust that we have what it's going to take to do what it is that we believe we're being called to do. And I want you to hear the words again. The angels sing, nothing is impossible with God. In co-partnership with the Spirit and the love that is being birthed again every year at this time of the year. In co-partnership with that love, nothing, nothing, nothing is impossible. We have to listen, and we have to let go. Mary was willing to listen. And the second thing that Mary was willing to do was to trust. She listened. Something was said to her that she knew was truth, and so she trusted. How many of you have gone to a friend or practitioner or loved one, a mentor, and they spoke the truth and you did not know why, but you trusted that individual with all your heart and all your soul? Unswervingly, no question you trusted her. The first lesson is listen. The second is to trust, to trust, to trust, to trust. So we have to trust. And third, and this is the most important lesson I think from our beloved Mary, was that we have to be willing to let go of how we think it's going to happen. I said you are being called to birth something in your life that's going to bless this world. And I believe that about every person sitting in this room and every person that's listening to my voice right now. I believe that with all my heart. And the hardest thing for all of us in this moment is to believe that, and then to let go of how we think it should happen. When most of us set intentions and desires for our life, we immediately start worrying about how is it going to happen. What are the things I've got to do? Oh, I got to get everything in place so I can get it to happen. Now, you realize I'm only talking to myself every Sunday, so you guys can listen in on this private conversation if you want to. I begin to worry instantly once I set an intention for something that's going to happen. How am I going to get it done? How's it going to happen? Why hasn't it happened yet? Who do I need to get to help me? We try to take control of the details. We try to look over God's shoulder, and we try to guide Spirit in telling us what to do. It's a little bit like growing carrots or growing tomatoes and constantly pulling it out of the ground to see if it's ripe yet. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. So many times we limit our good because we are micromanaging the divine. Ouch. I love that little poster that's so old that said God laughed. It's that little kid and it says God laughed when we try to micromanage what Spirit wants for us. I think sometimes Spirit is saying to us, I had so much more in mind for you. But okay, go on, go on, go on. Doesn't mean we don't have to work. It doesn't mean that we stop working about it, working over the thing that we are being called forth to birth. No, but what it is saying is that we have to have faith and hope and trust that it's going to happen in the right time. Mary and Joseph didn't let go of the dream of having this child. They had to travel a long distance. They had work to do. They had a process to follow. It takes time and effort to give birth to a baby, and it takes time and effort to give birth to that greatness that is within each and every one of us. That child that is laying in that manger is you. That baby that is being adored by the wise men and the animals and their parents and the shepherds and the angels singing to them, that's you. That's you. What is it that is being birthed in you this year? What is the gift that you want to give this holiday season? We can give the gift of hope and faith and trust to someone I know. There's a wonderful story in here, if I can find the right one. Here's one. It's called The Better Gift. During World War II, at the Christmas season, Miss Catherine Drummond was passing through a small Minnesota town. She observed a Red Cross bloodmobile parked before the schoolhouse and stopped to contribute a pint of blood. Among the workers was a middle-aged handyman who waited on the nurses by fetching supplies, washing utensils, and so forth. Meeting this man in the hall and assuming him to be the janitor, she commented upon the fine new school building. No doubt you find it a great improvement over the old one, she said. He blushed like a freshman and smiled too. I'm a stranger here, he said. I live in Minneapolis and travel around with this unit. Yeah, travel around with this unit. You see, I'm too old to fight and too unskilled to help those doctors and nurses in any other way other than this. I have a great interest in collecting blood for Europe, as all my people are imperiled there. His light complexion and sensitive features suggested to her that he was Nordic. Are you from Denmark, she asked. Oh, no, he replied, I'm Greek. You know, some Greeks are very fair complected. The following winter, Miss Drummond was in Minneapolis. Friends took her to hear the renowned Minneapolis Symphony Orchestra, and when its great conductor stepped to the podium, she recognized him at once. He was the handyman she had mistaken for a school janitor. He was the world-famous musician-conductor, Dmitri Metropolius. This story has been shared with you in order to ask this question. What are you giving this year? There are lots of things that are impossible for any of us to give, but by the same token, we can all give hope. We can all stand in the dark places, and we can give hope. Next week, all around the world, there will be a hope of peace that is sent up.
This is a story from my favorite Christmas album when I was a kid. It's called Alfie the Christmas Tree. Did you ever hear the story of the Christmas tree who just didn't want to change the show? He liked living in the woods and playing with squirrels. He liked bicycles and snow. He liked wolves and eagles and grizzly bears and critters and creatures that crawled. Why, bugs were some of his very best friends, spiders and ants and all. Now, that's not to say that he ever looked down on a vision of twinkling lights or on mirrored baubles and peppermint canes and 1,000 other delights. And he often had dreams of a tiny reindeer and a jolly old man and a sleigh full of toys and presents and wonderful things. And a story of Christmas Day. Oh, Alfie believed in Christmas, all right. He was full of Christmas cheer, all of each and every day, and all throughout the year. To him, it was more than a special time, much more than a special day. It was more than a beautiful story. It was a special kind of way. You see, some folks have never heard a jingle bell ring, and they've never heard of Santa Claus. They've never heard the story of the Son of God. And that made Alfie pause. Did that mean they'd never know of peace on earth, or the brotherhood of man, or know how to love, or know how to give? If they can't, no one can. You see, life is a very special thing, not just for a chosen few, but for each and every living, breathing thing, not just me and you. So in your Christmas prayers this year, Alfie asked me if I'd ask you to say a prayer for the wind and the water and the wood and those who live there too. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by If you know, sing along. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by and by.
It's in every one of us. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us right now. As we pray together today, we know there is one power, one presence, one source of life that is forever and ever moving and having its expression through each and every one of us. What an awesome, awesome and amazing way to live our life, knowing that God and I are one. Knowing that the infinite intelligence of life, the great creator of all that is seen and unseen, is within me. And it is within you, and it is within all people everywhere. This is our oneness. We are bound by the love, the light, and the knowledge that God is within us, as us, is us. And so from this magnificent platform of faith and hope and conviction, I speak my word today. I speak my word for all of those precious beings that have requested prayer from our prayer team. Prayers for relationship. Prayers for a home to be found for Deb and her family. Prayers for those who are afraid because of recent diagnoses, watching their loved ones fade away into Alzheimer's and other dementias. We are speaking the word for all these prayers that have been received in this church, knowing that the mind of God already knew the prayer long before we did. It was known by Spirit. And so we simply listen to the lessons today, and we believe, we listen and we believe, and step away and allow God to be God through that situation, whatever that situation may be. In this time where families come together, where there may be disruptions, I speak the word of peace and love, compassion and acceptance. For there is nothing more important than love between people, each other, and families. And so this morning, I call forth forgiveness. Wherever it may be needed, I call forth the light wherever there is darkness. For those prayers for abundance and prosperity, I simply step into the understanding that with God all things are possible, and that we live in an abundant universe, and we open ourselves up now to receive. And we say, thank you, Spirit, for that. For our beloved Rob Compton, who is beginning a new job tomorrow, but I don't want to use the word job here. I want to use the word vocation. I want to use the word calling as Rob Compton steps out and lets his life shine for young people who so need the lesson of love, acceptance, and understanding. And so we bless Rob Compton right now. We bless him. And we know he is making a difference. He is birthing the greatness that God is calling forth in him. And those young people are blessed, and their lives are changed. I say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. We hold our beloved Tima in our prayers as he is recovering from surgery. Dove, as she is going into surgery. We bless those people on this planet that are in fear. May the bombs cease to fall. May hearts open in love. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Love. Love. And so we light the candles of hope and joy and love and peace, acceptance and oneness. And we celebrate the good. There is so much good. We celebrate the love between people, the happiness, the celebration, and the joy. For this and so much more, we are deeply grateful. We release this knowing it cannot return to us void, but returns fulfilled with the prayer that is spoken. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, life. Thank you for the prayers of peace. It's in every one of us. Please stand and take someone's hand or put your arm through their crook of their arm.
It's in every one of us to be wise.
Find your heart.
Find your heart.
Open up both your eyes.
Open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us.
Here and now.
By and
It's been a long time since we've sung that as an old religious song, a religious science song that we just all love so much. You know, there's story after story after story. It all revolves around children and stories at the end. For years now, whatever Christmas pageants are talked about at a certain little town in the Midwest, someone is sure to mention the name of Wallace Perling. Wallace Perling. We should Google him, shouldn't we? Wallace's performance in one annual production of the Nativity play has slipped into the realm of legend. Wally was 9 that year in the 2nd grade, although he should have been in the 4th. Most people in town knew that he had difficulty in keeping up. He was big and clumsy, slow in movement, slow in mind. Still, Wally was well liked by the other children in his class. Wally fancied the idea of being a shepherd with a flute in the Christmas pageant that year, but the play's director, Miss Lombard, assigned him a more important role, that of innkeeper. And so it happened. A large audience gathered for the town's annual extravaganza. No one was more caught up in the magic of that night than Wallace. They said later that he stood in the wings and watched the performances with such fascination that Miss Lambert had to make sure he didn't wander on stage before his cue. Then came the time. Joseph appeared slowly, tenderly guiding Mary to the door of the inn. Joseph knocked hard on the wooden door, set in the painted backdrop. Wally, the innkeeper, was there waiting. "What do you want?" he asked brusquely. "We seek lodging." "Seek it elsewhere." Wally looked straight ahead but spoke vigorously. "This inn is filled." "Please, good innkeeper, this is my wife, Mary," said Joseph. "She is heavy with child and needs a place to rest." For the first time, the innkeeper relaxed his stance and looked at Mary. Then there was a long pause. The prompter from the back of the stage prompted, "Be gone, no, be gone." Wally repeated, "No, be gone." Joseph sadly put his arm around Mary, and she laid her head on his shoulder, and they started to move away. The innkeeper stood there watching the forlorn couple. His mouth was open, brow creased with concern, his eyes filled with tears. Suddenly, this Christmas pageant became different. "Don't go, Joseph!" Wally cried out. "Bring Mary back. You can have my room." Come on. Can't you see it? Everybody stand up really quickly. Stand up. Stand up. This is for all of the 6-year-old, 4 to 6-year-olds that's hiding somewhere inside of you right now. Ready? Santa Claus.
You better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list, checking it twice.
Come on,
gonna
kids.
find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be good, for goodness sakes. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Turn to somebody and tell them what you want for Christmas this year. Turn to somebody real quick. And for those of you who are at home, put right here in the live feed, what is your greatest wish for our planet this year for Christmas? Thank you. Please, please be seated. Whew, we've got a couple of announcements. I know it's running late, but let me tell you the most important announcement, and that is that we have a bunch of homemade, beautiful Christmas treats for you over there. You have some little Santa hats, which I tried to make, so don't make fun of them. And I'm not a chef, so it's like, okay. And then there's some really amazing homemade and some amazing store-bought cookie sweets for you. There's hot chocolate, there's coffee, there's tea. Please stay after church. Say hello to Ed, who's with us from Oregon. As many of you may know, Ed started his training here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Boise, and now he's in Oregon, and he's going to be a practitioner this year, coming up, 2024. Yeah, I tried to get him to come on the stage, but some little things got in the way. But next time he'll come on the stage and be with us, right? So, stop and say hello. We got some puppies in the house that you want to stop and give some love to, and so forth. So and we have some little gifts in a basket, which I'll bring out, little cookies and sweets for the children. So if you have grandchildren, please grab one or two of those and take them with you and give them to your grandkids. I just want to express my gratitude, of course, to our amazing musical entourage here under Rex Miller and, of course, Jen Potcher this morning, Phil Bowden, Ted McClurg. Wow. And while we were talking about Phil Bowden, Phil gave me something. Hey, Phil's in an amazing group called Classic Vinyl. And on Saturday, December the 23rd, that's next Saturday night, coming up here, he's going to be at Willie B's on Chinden. That's near my house. I'm going to come. I'm going to be there. And they're going to be laying it down from 8 to 11, so 8 o'clock. You know, they have some pretty good food there at Willie B's. So come on and have a little something to eat and listen to Classic Vinyl with our own Phil Bowden. Anybody else got something to announce? Something going on with your band?
I've got a couple coming up after Christmas. On the 28th, I'm filling in with a band who unfortunately lost their bass player. Passed right after he had song. I'm honored to fill in with a band called The Notables at the Sapphire Room. It's their doubleheader night on the 28th. And then the 29th, 30th, and 31st, that's 3 nights out at Indian Creek State House to welcome in the new year with the band this evening.
Woohoo! Lots going on. Anything? Well, I want you all to know that Jen Potcher is one of the producers and bigwigs over at the Mystery Theater. Yes, you are. Stop lying. Yes, she is. And that's a lot of fun. We're going to get a group together and come one night and have fun at the Mystery. And it's at the Riverside as well. Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Rex, got anything to say? Anything? Okay, we'll announce some for Rex later. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I just want to also announce that next week, of course, it's Christmas Eve on the 24th. That's next Sunday. In the morning, we're going to be doing a really deep dive into the metaphysical story from the perspective of not from the Bible, but metaphysically, what does it mean for you and your life? Talking a little bit about that. We've got some wonderful music. And then at 6:30 in the evening, we're going to have our annual candle lighting service. It is going to be beautiful. We've got Oliver Thompson, an amazing violinist if you have never heard him. So it's going to be a very spiritual, glorious music time of lighting candles together. 1 hour in and out so you can go and do your Christmas Eve things. 6:30. Thank you today to the following people. Of course, our pulpit assistant was Beverly Ballard. The soundboard was Rod Compton. The videographer on camera is Jenna Nash. A photographer today I saw was is Cheryl Houdon back there. Our usher greeters were Jane Torres and Harold Whitman and Beverly as well. Hospitality setup was Ken Potter and JJ, and food by everybody, and we'll all help clean up. Cookies are brought to us by everybody today. Your church was cleaned and got made so welcome and ready for Christmas by Miss JJ. And our children, of course, are here. So our eBless volunteer is Donna Sheedy. Other volunteers this week, I just want to mention Renee and Jeanette came in and helped vacuum the floor. Beverly helped reset up chairs and fix the place. Harold Whitman came in and helped us. Every single person is so appreciated. All of your work is so appreciated. And we definitely appreciate your giving to this church. As we say at the end of every year, if you want to get your gift in for this year, it needs to be here by December 31st. And we really hope that you will consider the Center for Spiritual Living in your year-end planning and giving. Thank you so much. Let's just take our gift, our offering in our hand, as together we say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate, and so it is. Amen, amen. One very, very quick announcement that I want to make is about our prayer requests. You have prayer requests in the table in front of you. Please take one out for yourself, for someone else, for our world. We will disseminate those to the practitioners by the end of the day, and they will begin praying with you. Please fill out a prayer request no matter. And if things are great, fill that out too. Also, we have our welcome cards. If you are visiting with us today, please fill out a welcome card. And please do stay for hospitality. So once again, it is my great honor, my great privilege to introduce Jen Potcher and the CSL House Band.
Everybody on your feet, come on. Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop. Sing along. Mistletoe hung where you can see every couple tries to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree, let the Christmas spirit ring. Later we'll have some pumpkin pie and we'll do some caroling. You will get a sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Rocking around the Christmas tree, have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way. You will get a sentimental feeling when you hear voices singing, let's be jolly. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Rocking around the Christmas tree, have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way.
Have a great week, everyone. Know you are blessed.